Hello everyone and welcome back to part 2 of building a cozy log cabin in inZOI. And thank you so much for coming back, and I hope you like this video. So in the last video we built the exterior of the home, and in today's video we are going to do the interior and also add some finishing touches on the exterior, specifically adding some greenery on the outside. So stick around to see that at the end. So for the interior, of course, the first part is figuring out what kind of flooring and also wallpaper we wanted. I wanted to still go with some kind of wood finish just to match basically the theme and also the exterior of the home. Now, in this little nook, I decided I wanted to make a kitchen. And as I was putting the cabinets in, I realized that it was a little bit too small. So I decided to extend the walls a little bit to have more space for the cabinets. And then I needed to, of course, add a fridge, because how else are we going to store food? And because the space was so tight, I decided to combine two cabinets using the Alt key. So if you hold the Alt key, you can put furniture on top of the other. Now, if you've seen my ultimate inZOI build mode guide, then you will know that it doesn't work for every single item. Certain items have limitations. However, for the most part, it makes it a lot easier to be able to move furniture around freely. From here, I felt as though the space was still a little bit too small, but then, which you'll see in a moment, I decided to go back and just, again, use the Alt key and start merging some of the cabinets together. Because as soon as I put the stove down, there was a slight gap, and of course didn't want to leave a gap there, so instead I just tried to put things together. And I tried to arrange it in a way so it didn't look odd with the handles. So I opted for a corner piece instead. I had to keep playing around with it until I was able to align things properly in a way that it didn't look weird. But you know what, guys, we got there, and the hard work paid off, because in the end, as you'll see, I think it did turn out really well. Then I thought about adding some chairs, but considering the size of the home, I decided there wasn't enough space to put them in, so I just ended up deleting them. And then I wanted to add some upper cabinetry, matching still the similar style of the bottom ones, and then adding some different decoration around. I was trying to match also the colors to have a seamless look. From there, I decided I wanted to add a staircase to the second floor, but I had realized that given the size of the stairs, I could not fit any stairs in because they were too big. They were sticking out of the actual home, which was quite unfortunate. I know that inZOI just released an update with smaller stairs. However, at the time of me building this home, the smaller stair option was not available. So in a little bit, you'll see that I opted for a ladder, which is interesting. I even tried to see if they would fit here in this longer part of the home. But even there, I was struggling to make it work. Then I decided to do the dining area, And the inspiration for this was a family getaway, so I wanted a relatively large table, a wooden one to match, of course, the theme, and then have chairs around it, 4 chairs around it for the family, all matching the color scheme. Then I wanted to do the living room area. And this is obviously a small home, so it's pretty open concept. I wanted a fireplace because I thought since this is a getaway retreat, we want to stay warm in the winter time, or if it's summer, I guess we don't need it, but still a fireplace is always nice to have. And I also didn't want to include a TV because I wanted this more for families to spend quality time together. So you don't need a TV for that. Instead, spend time with each other, play some games, some card games, talk, and just enjoy each other's company. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. Here comes the ladder since the stairs could not fit. Hopefully nobody's bringing their grandparents here, and if they are, the grandparents will sleep downstairs because that ladder does not look very easy to climb. So, you know, we gotta make do with what we have. I really like the fact that we have the ability to add pillows to the sofas, which is pretty cool. And I really like this accent chair. We need a place, of course, to hang our clothes. And we need some kind of stereo system, so that way we can have a family dance party, of course. And some greenery to liven up the place. And also give it that nature vibe as well, since the log cabin, of course, is going to be out in the middle of a forest or just in the middle of nature as a whole. I was just aligning everything to the fireplace. And I decided that the window was a little bit overkill. It was a little too big and didn't really fit, which you'll see. I was testing out a few different options. And then I decided I just am going to put a photo instead. And again, going with the nature vibe, I decided to just put a photo of some trees. Why not? A painting, rather. We also, of course, need a bathroom. So I just decided to make a small powder room here with just a toilet and a sink. And later on upstairs, we'll have the master bath, which again will be relatively small given the size of the home, but it will have a shower as well. Keeping it quite simple for this one. And I realized there wasn't actually any space for the toilet, so I just widened it a little bit, not too much. And of course, we always need to add the toilet paper next to the toilet. And then some accessories and things that we might need in the washroom. And also a vacuum should the home get dirty. Which thankfully, after the new update on the 29th, the inZOI developers finally fixed the issue with how quickly your ZOI's homes would get dirty. Because, for example, I'm not sure if you guys have watched my part 1 of the inZOI gameplay, but in that, my ZOI's home was getting dirty, I would say maybe every 10 to 15 minutes. It was way too often. I would have her clean her home and then shortly after it would be dirty again. And it was very frustrating. It didn't really make a lot of sense. So they finally patched that. So that way it wouldn't happen so frequently. And thank goodness for that. I then went back to the kitchen and I decided I needed some color to liven up the place because it was looking a little too dull with all the white mixing in with the browns. So we needed a pop of color and I ended up changing it to the color of that accent chair. So the deeper, I guess, is it aquamarine, teal type of color. And I'm not sure if you guys prefer the light blue versus this color. I think both looked really nice, but for whatever reason, I opted for this more deeper, darker blue-green. And I think that it came out really nice. Then add in some spice jars, of course, because if we're going to have a family cookout, we need to add in some spices. And also, I love this tray of coffee because it's perfect for the family. Just adding a Kleenex box if anybody needs tissues. And then I decided to add a bit of an accent table, had some magazines, and a little plant. And then just add a few more plants around. I do like the amount of plant options, at least for the interior of the home, especially given that inZOI is still in early access. However, for the exterior of the home, which you will see at the end of this video, I do wish that we had more plant options than we do. But you know what, again, I'm not complaining, just something for the developers to think about. And you know what, they've already been patching a lot of things based on the kind of issues and bugs that people were finding and based on what people were asking for. So if anything, we should be thankful to the developers of this game for actually paying attention to what the players and users are asking for, and also for them actually making these adjustments so quickly as well. We also need some more rugs. So developers, if you're listening, which you're probably not, but should you one day come around and listen, we need more rugs. Oh, and the ability to actually size up and down furniture. That would be very important. And then going upstairs, I needed to make a bedroom, and also I wanted to have more than just one bed upstairs, so that way, if again it's a family, we can fit multiple people. And although this is also a very tight space, so just trying to manage and work around with the space that we have. I always have a hard time figuring out what kind of patterns or textures I want to use for the furniture. So I'm always clicking around multiple different things and then playing around also with the colors. And you probably can always tell that usually the color schemes that I go with are some kind of beige and neutrals, or I really like blue and reds. I wanted a vanity where somebody can take a look, maybe touch up their makeup. Of course, we need dressers because there's always need a place to store their clothes. And then we needed a separate side dresser where we can fit some extra items that we may need to store given the size of the home, so storage is limited. And for all of the photo frames, I decided to go with anything that resembled nature for the most part, just fitting in with the theme of a cozy log cabin cottage getaway. And then we needed to make the second bathroom. And this one we needed a shower, considering we need at least one shower in the home for our Zois to clean up in. And the downstairs one, we did not have any space, so this was the one. And of course we include all the staples like a toilet, a sink, and also a mirror. I like to go with a tiled look usually for the walls, and or sometimes the flooring as well for bathrooms. From there, I wanted to have another mirror for the main area. And this is where I wanted to put in an additional bed as well. And we can assume that the downstairs couch is a pull-out couch, so that way somebody can sleep there as well, or maybe even a couple of people can sleep there. So that would essentially mean that technically, because we have a double bed upstairs and a single bed, we can fit at least 3 people upstairs to sleep, and then downstairs, if we have the pull-out couch, at least another 2, if not more. So minimum 5 people can stay in this home. Then who knows, if somebody wants to bring sleeping bags, we can fit more too. So there's never a limit, I guess. This is me playing around with the windows, which in the new update also they released some new and skinny windows. So I will be releasing a new video showcasing all of the build mode updates and also the character create updates very soon. Or maybe at the time that that I upload this, it may already be something that I've uploaded, I'm not sure, but keep an eye out regardless. And guys, also don't forget to follow and like my creations on Canvas in inZOI, because I've noticed people have been liking some of my creations, like my ZOIs and my builds, but not a lot of people are following on there, which is interesting. Maybe I have to create more ZOIs or even home builds for people to follow. I'm not exactly sure, but take a look. I will link it down in the description and go ahead and either give me a like and follow, and that way you can stay up to date on any new creations that I make. And you can also see this build on my profile as well, in case you'd like to download it as well and have your inZOI have a cozy cottage getaway. I felt like the bedroom was slightly too empty, so I decided to add some shelves and then add some decorative items like a calendar so we can know what day it is, and add some greenery as well. I always think that I want to add a lot more greenery to my builds, but then I think, is it going to be overkill? I'm not exactly sure. So I always try to limit myself, but I wonder, what do you guys think? Should I be adding more plants in my homes and in the builds that I make? Because if you guys want me to do so, I certainly will. I have no problem. If it was up to me, well, I guess it is up to me, but I'm trying to also consider what people might like as well and what you guys would like to see. So I kind of don't want to overdo it, but I really like plants, so who knows? And also I had to add in the cute elephant stuffed toy from one of my last builds. I made him using the 3D printer. And if you aren't sure how I was able to place him on the ledge there, then again, go watch my other video, which is the ultimate inZOI build mode video. And I will tell you exactly step by step how to do that. Once I was able to figure that out, it was a complete game changer. Because previously I thought you could only place 3D printed items on the floor, which is not the case. As I mentioned in part 1, there's not a lot of outdoor furniture, so in terms of what I could place on the balcony, it was quite limited. And as I'm doing this voiceover, I realized I could have added plants on the balcony. For whatever reason, as I was actually building it, it didn't come to my mind. But now, as I'm doing the voiceover, it's kicking in. I really like the sun umbrella, and I just decided, in case we wanted to catch a tan, catch some sun, lie out in the sun, might as well have these tanning beds, these sun beds. But also in case we want shade, then just wanted to have the umbrella as well. Plus I like the pop of red to give the home some color. And then a cooler in case we want to just sit outside on the front porch, drink a cold drink. And then I wanted to add in some greenery out in the front as well. So I added some bushes, and then I was playing around. I was looking at some of the trees, and I decided I didn't want the trees to take away from the house and just block the home. So I will add a tree, which you'll see in a little bit, in the back of the home. And because these bushes were just fully green and there was no color, I decided to just pop in some red and blue flowers as well. Kind of a mix of both. And I think it came out quite cute, actually. And then I saw that there was grass, but the grass didn't look that great. It looks very sparse, not full grass, so I just decided to delete it instead. And I wanted to add in some flower beds, which technically they're not really flower beds. I don't see any flowers, so I decided to just, again, use my Alt key and add in some various plants throughout. Now, the only downside is that you can't actually take a piece of furniture or a plant and make it appear higher or lower to the ground. So there was some limitations in terms of some plants that were too low to the ground to actually appear on this plant bed. So I had to play around until I found some plants that could work. And again, holding the Alt key so that way I can layer them on top of each other. And I tried my best with what I was given because, again, there's not too many outdoor flower options. So did what I could. Also, one thing that would be really cool is if the inZOI developers would create the ability for us to have and create pools, because as of right now we don't have that capability. And also having some jacuzzis would be really nice, because I think that would go perfect for this cottage getaway. So should that come in a future update, you know that I will 100% come back to this build and make those adjustments and have like a mini pool in the back and pop in a jacuzzi, so if it's a wintertime getaway you can still sit out in the hot water. And as I mentioned, I put the tree in the back because that way it wouldn't disturb the way that the home looked like from the front, because I didn't want it to block the home. And I decided to just add in some rocks and some greenery in the back. And then as I did that, I saw this barbecue and I thought, okay, we should definitely add it in. And then I saw this mailbox and I thought, well, we definitely need a spot for mail, so let's pop that in as well. And I wanted to add in this red pinkish tree as well. And then just add in some additional flowers throughout. Would love to know what you guys think of this build down in the comments below. Let me know what you like about it. Let me know if there's things that you wish I would improve on it. And again, I will put the link to the canvas to download this build down into the description. So if you did like this build, then please go ahead, like and download it, and that way you can have your ZOIs actually live and play around with this home. And then I decided to add some exterior lights, outdoor lights just around, so that way when it becomes nighttime, the area around is still lit up. So anywhere from the front to the side where the flowers are, and also on all of the decks as well. And again, thank you very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for all of your support. Once again, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see in future videos. Thank you, and see you guys on the next one.